Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason, and this is just going to be a quick little video about this little WLtoys buggy I picked up for 25 bucks. Took about 2 weeks to arrive. I looked on AliExpress, it's still going for like 27, 28 bucks, or you can get some for 45, 48, about 50 bucks. I don't know why any would be more. Now, I've seen, so after I purchased this about 2 weeks ago, I seen, I was looking up some videos, trying to do a little research on the thing, and based on what I can tell, this looks like it's, apparently they got a first version and a second version, based on what I can find. Mine looks like a second version, however, the second version had a different body, and the differences were that they have these body clips where you can swing this little top plate up to get the battery out of the buggy. This motor has that black wrap on it, where the other ones they didn't have the black wrap, and the servo wasn't very proportional. You would turn a very fraction and it would give it all she's got. Mine is proportional, so we're gonna check that out. The gyro doesn't work great. This thing in the house drives best on carpet. On carpet, it's super fast, really fun. On linoleum, hardwood, it's not very grippy. It seems the throttle is still much of an on-off. It's like it can kind of creep and get going if you lightly pull it, or probably however you pull it, but then it's like the motor kind of hits into a turbo without, you can just give a very little bit, kind of like WLtoys motors and ESCs because I always ran. I remember the 12 scale buggy I got would do the same thing. It would like get to top speed and kind of shut into like a turbo mode. I don't know. Anyway, friction shocks, no oil in these things. That could be easily upgraded. I think this thing would do pretty well with some upgraded shocks. The steering service seems to be fine. Maybe a faster one could be okay. The other issue mine has is I've let it charge for several hours, like probably 6 hours I went to it, and it still only got to like 8 volts. I'm gonna check the little, the box that I'm using that plugs into the wall. Maybe something's wrong with that, but it has charged it, so I ran it at 8 volts. But I also wanted to hook up, it's like, how can I charge this on the hobby charger? So I have this little thing that I use for, if I have like a 3-4 cell battery, 2 cell, any of them, where one cell starts to get out of balance, this can charge a particular cell one at a time. But make sure you orient these correctly. I've heard the low CB has a different orientation. It has the same connector, just with the red wire on this side and vice versa. So, but anyway, I hooked it up, plugged these, push them all the way in, and it did charge it. So I've got it at 8.4 volts. So we're gonna cut it on, check it out. Now, I was driving it outside here earlier and did break the wing because it's cold. It's probably like 40, and but I super glued it back together, and it's on there like. So these probably would be best on carpet, so that they don't break, but or at least not when it's cold, really cold, to drive it on pavement or concrete. So anyway, let's see. Any other issues I've had? No, it does have, this thing pops off. I do want to say it's all hex hardware, everywhere on the thing, and it uses a 1.3 and a 1.5. It looks like a carbon fiber kind of chassis, but it's just plastic. This thing's pretty cool though, guys. So it's super fast. I'll turn it on and we're gonna take a look at the steering. And like I said, there are versions where the steering, like you plug the battery in, where the steering is not proportional and not like it should be, right? So this one is though. Okay, so the gyro, actually, it's okay, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't, for this little thing, you don't really need it. All right. See how, like, I've seen where the guy will turn this thing like that much, and it'll just keep going. Mine is definitely proportional. So that's pretty good that they fixed that. It's also got 3 different speeds. Has a channel for lights. If you looks like you plug them into here probably. This will reverse the steering servo. I guess maybe some of them might be wired the other way, and you might have a need to reverse that. Or if you upgrade the servo to a different one, that may operate in the opposite direction. So, but really, this thing is really super cool. It looks like it's designed, you know, after a 10 scale 2-wheel drive. It's like pretty much identical to a 10 scale 2-wheel drive, all the way down to everything, really. Just on a very smaller scale. So it's really cool. I've seen a guy did a mod for the shocks where he put some O-rings at the top of them and some grease, and it did seem to help. I'm thinking about maybe putting some like maybe fuel tubing on the shafts to kind of dampen it a little bit, see if that'll help. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. These tires, I've seen they said the tires weren't real soft. These are super soft. They don't have foam, but they are super duper soft back here. These ones up front seem they're definitely harder, but I have no issue with it. This thing turns good. I get a pretty good amount of steering in both directions. It's pretty equal to be honest. I think it does turn a little harder that way to the left than the right. I'm not sure though. So looks pretty good to me, to be honest. So all right, guys, we're gonna take this thing for a ride. Hopefully I can do some one-hand driving. Let me get the body on, I'll turn this camera back on. I'll be right back. Okay, one other thing. It did come with some shock spacers, which I put both in the rear because the rear is more bouncy, so it really didn't really help it too much. But the front kind of, I mean, the front doesn't bounce like the rear, so I guess that's where all the weight's at, so it throws it back up in the air. All right, doggy's gonna chase it around, I'm sure. Here we go. All right, so this is on level 1. I got a bunch of sticks and stuff out here, probably get caught in it. Should probably blow this driveway off before I do this, and I probably will later tomorrow when I... All right, so this is level 1. I mean, that's pretty quick. So let's go ahead and boost up to, you'll hear the beeps, 2 beeps for level 2. The gear meshing, it does seem tight, and the motor is very notchy. So when you let off, a lot of times if you try to turn it off, you let off the gas, it'll try to, it'll like break. So anyway, it's doing better out here as far as traction. Inside on linoleum or hardwood, not good on traction, but carpet, it's pretty awesome on carpet. So. All right, let's bump it up to 3. Where you hear the 3 beeps. This thing kind of boogies for you know, a little. And now this thing is running on 2-cell LiPo, so I mean that's a pretty good amount of power for that little motor it's got in it. But all right, guys, just want to show y'all this. It's definitely really fun. If you have a good area inside your house with a big wide area for carpet, you can set up a track, and this thing would have, you'd have a lot of fun with it. So Merry Christmas, guys. Hope y'all had a good year. Ready for the new year, and we'll see y'all in 2026. Later.